Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be draining and flushing and then filling up the radiator, basically the coolant for this vehicle, which is a 2008 Pathfinder V6 engine. It has 125,000 miles on it, and I don't think the radiator coolant has been drained and filled before. I think maybe just filling it up a little bit at a time as needed, but not really proper drain and fill. I don't know, I don't remember asking the dealership to do it. It's not marked on the maintenance book anywhere, so I think it's not done before. Now, I did a test earlier using this tester here. I used this tester on my old fluid, and the pointer was all the way up there, so it may not be good. It's supposed to be somewhere in here, but mine was all the way up there. So I'm going to do a drain and fill, and once it is complete we'll test it again and see where it is at that point. I'll put a picture here for the measurements I took for the old liquid. As you can see in those pictures, it is off the charts, as they say. So I went to a dealership, Nissan dealership, and I purchased the proper coolant for my vehicle. For my 2008 Pathfinder, it uses the green fluid, and they only have the concentrate, so this needs to be mixed. So I purchased one previously, like a few years ago. This is how it used to look like. And I even marked it here because I have another Nissan and it has similar jug, but the other one is blue. This one is green, and I marked it here, need mixing. To mix it, you need to mix it with something like distilled water because it doesn't have any minerals, so that is good for the system. Model is L248 or L248 SP, and two of these I got. Wasn't sure if one is enough, so I got two, and I got a bunch of distilled water for the flushing part. So I bought 10 total. I may not need them all. If I don't, then I use distilled water for my fountain at work. I have 3 little fountains on my desk at work in my office, so I'll use that there, so no problem. I have that pan is 20 quarts pan. I'm going to use it to catch the fluid and properly recycle it at the county recycling center, because it's toxic fluid. You can't just throw it out in a drain somewhere. It's not good. If the fluid touches your car's paint, you need to wipe it not wipe it, but clean it with water and make sure it's good, because it will eat your paint. It will remove your paint. And you will need a Phillips screw head driver, and that is to remove the drain plug for the radiator. And if you need to remove the hose from the reservoir, you will need needle nose pliers like this to pinch it and pull it out, the clip. And you will need a refill kit. You don't need, I should not say you don't need. I just bought it for convenience. You don't need this. You just need a funnel, any type of funnel. This is just me buying it for convenience. You don't need it. Also, I wrote some instructions here. I've got this platform here in case I need to get up there, and I put it on ramp so it's too high. I was working on the differential fluid there, the oil, so I needed it to be high. So I got this platform in case I need it. So I wrote some steps here, kind of summarized the steps. So the engine is cooled down already, and I will remove the radiator cap, and that's because the engine is cool. If it's still hot, don't do the second thing. Don't remove the radiator cap. We will set the ignition to on without turning on the engine. We will turn the heater on max. We'll put the temperature on the very high for the front and the back heaters, and we will leave it on for 10 seconds, and then we will shut the ignition off that will open the heat cores and let the fluid go through, and then we will drain the coolant from the radiator. And there is another option to drain the fluid from the engine block, which I am not going to do because I don't think it is worth the effort. They are not easy to reach, and once you do, it's not worth the effort. You are changing the fluid and you are flushing it. Little bit left in there is no big deal, so I'm skipping that part. So let me show you where the drain plug is for the radiator. So you have to go underneath the vehicle, and it's right there. Oh, let me turn the light on. It's right there. So it's easy access. If you want it to be 100% straight underneath it, you will need to move this a little bit. But otherwise, you just be careful when you take it out and put it back on, because it is all plastic. I just don't want it to strip or to get damaged. I don't know if my drain plug has a bad washer, but we will see. It may need to be replaced. Okay, I'm gonna start the process. So again, make sure your engine is very cool. I touched it earlier, it's not hot, so I removed it and vented it. I'm removing the cap here, and I'm going to turn the ignition to the on position. So now it's in on position. We'll turn the heater on at full.
Dash cam is recording.
And my full goes up to 90, so we'll count 10 seconds. That's it.
Power supply is disconnected.
I think I even did 20 seconds actually, not 10. But anyhow, the heater core should be open now. We'll come down here. Oh, it spilled some liquid here. Okay, maybe that's why they tell you to remove the cap. All right, so there is some liquid that spilled. It's all right, it didn't hit any paint, so we'll leave it alone. All right, so I'm gonna get under here and remove the thing. So give me a second. Okay guys, so I've got the screwdriver under there. And nope. Seems like it's getting damaged. It's not turning. It's not turning. And this is a big Phillips head right here. This is a big Phillips head and it's not turning. I'm gonna have to do it off camera to make sure it's not gonna break. Alright guys, I'm back. So as you saw, I stripped the plug on my radiator. So before I do anything, I went ahead and purchased the replacement. This is the model number or item number. So I got this from Nissan directly, as you can see there. The plug, this piece of plastic here, is about slightly less than $15, was $14 something. And then to make sure it is sealed properly, you need a seal, which of course doesn't come with it. You have to purchase separately. So this was about $2 or so. So total was $18 with tax and everything included. So I went ahead and purchased the Nissan one because I don't want anything, any leaks or anything to happen if you buy an aftermarket one. Aftermarket will be about $8 to $10, so I thought I'll just pay the extra and buy original genuine part that I know will last much longer, and it's better since the one on it is almost 17-18 years old and it's still fine, no leaking. I went ahead and purchased the silicone lubricant, so I'm going to be spraying this on the plug on it there now to make it a little bit simpler for it to come out easily. Now of course it is stripped, so I'm gonna have to use my needle nose pliers here to put the needle nose pliers inside of these. There is like flat holes here. I'm gonna put it in there and turn it, see, maybe that's better leverage. And I thought about it a little bit more, and I decided to go ahead and buy the Flush Plus cleaner from Prestone. So this was about $4. I got 2 of them. I'm thinking maybe I'll do 2 flushes. If not, I'll just keep one for the other car for later. This silicone lubricant was $7 from Walmart. These are all from Walmart. This is from Nissan. So one thing also I forgot to do last time is didn't turn the heater on for the back heater, so going to do that now. The heater should still be on. I also this time didn't open the radiator cap. I left it closed because last time it spilled out, so I'm gonna leave it sealed. Okay, so I'm gonna put it in the on position, just on, and then it is the back heater, all the way maximum to heat and fan maximum. We'll leave it 10 seconds.
Power supply
That is it. That is 10 seconds. So now we are ready to remove the thing and drain. So I'm gonna do that now off camera so I don't get spillage on me, but you saw how the plug looks like. Okay guys, so I ended up removing this kind of plastic guard. It just screwed in with these 10 millimeter bolts. Once I removed them, I came down here. Now I have better now I have better access to this plug, so I can use my long nose pliers to get into these holes here and turn it. But before I did that, I sprayed it once with this one I just showed you, the silicone lubricant. Actually sprayed it a couple times, gave it about 5 minutes to soak in. And I'm gonna do 1/3 time here so you can see it on camera. And just let it sit there. It's fine, it's just lubricant. Let it sit there for 5 minutes or so, and you come back and try with the pliers. So we'll do that. Okay, so it's been several minutes, and now I'm gonna remove the plug, and liquid should come out. Or at least it should turn easily. Remove this pin. Okay. Now the pliers is let me put the phone down. Hold on. I just needed to have a better grip on the pliers. I lost it again. Here we go. And just turn it like so. Here we go. So I guess my tip for you would be to spray silicone lubricant on it before you even attempt to do this with the Phillips head screwdriver, to give it a little bit of loosening force to prevent stripping. But now I think it's removable. I'm gonna let it soak in a little bit more and turn it some more. Alright, I think we are ready now to remove it completely. Trying to move away from it because I don't want it splashing on my face. That's what I'm doing. If it splashes on your skin, you need to go wash it. Actually, that reminds me, I have gloves. Hold on. Yeah, so I just put some gloves on my hand just to a little bit extra protection. Now the radiator cap is on and the reservoir is also on. That way it is less liquid coming out, and then I will remove it afterwards, so it should flow better then. Okay, maybe now by hand. Yep, by hand. So I'm gonna it's making sound. Okay, so there is the washer in here. Well, you can see it splashed all over my glove. See there, all over my glove. So good thing I wore gloves. I'm gonna remove the gloves and go wash my hands still, because I've got some on my skin here. Alright guys, so I drained the radiator completely and I dumped a gallon of the distilled water in the radiator, and it came out all light green color, so it's cleaning. And then I filled up the reservoir here, but my reservoir doesn't have a tube coming out from the bottom of it to go into the radiator. The tube on mine is on the top, so this got filled up all the way to the brim, and only slightly a little bit of liquid came out in there. So that tells me there is no discharge from this, unless maybe the vehicle is on. But I filled it up, and to drain it from here to there, because I want to clean this one too, so I'm using this pump. I ended up using it. So this is intake, it goes in here, and then discharge goes in there, and I'm putting it in the radiator. So, of course you don't have to do that, you can just put this in the bucket directly, but you know, one way or another. So this is how I'm doing it. Best thing to do is maybe just drain it in the in the bucket directly, which I might do the next time. But yeah, this thing is empty now, and I'm gonna go ahead and fill up the radiator. But let me show you the liquids that came out. And this is how much it came out the first time. It's about slightly above 1/3 of 5-gallon bucket. This is the original fluid. It was dark green color, and after putting about 2 jugs of distilled water in it, it came out and it's light green like this. So I'm gonna wait until the dripping stops. I'm gonna tighten it, and I'm gonna put this cleaner in it, and we'll do that. Alright guys, so now we will put this cleaner in the radiator. According to the instructions, it says, with the engine off, drain radiator, pour content into radiator and fill with water. In my case, I'm going to use distilled water. For system larger than 12 quarts, use 2 bottles. Mine is not 12 quarts. For heavy duty cleaning, skip to step 4. I don't need heavy duty cleaning. Use as 10 minutes flush run engine with heater on high for 10 minutes after reaching operating temperature. So we will do this. We'll pour it all in the system. Okay, that's done. And now we will turn the engine on and leave it run until it's operating temperature, then use the heater for 10 minutes. And I'm gonna put the cap on. Cap on the reservoir, and then the cap back on the radiator. Oh, I almost forgot. I need to add the water, the distilled water. Hold on. Alright, so in my case this is not staying. It's because the cap on the vehicle is not level. Because I had it level for the differential fluid, but for the radiator is not. But it's fine. It's gonna drain one way or another. So I'm gonna hold it in this case. And I'm gonna hold it from here. It's much better. Anyhow, I'm gonna fill it up to the brim and put the caps on and turn the engine, but you don't have to watch the whole thing. It may take a few minutes, so I'm gonna stop it for you. Alright guys, so I turned the vehicle on. The heater is high. The fan is not maximum, but it's high. And it's the same with the back heater. But the air is cool, it's not hot. It's supposed to be hot, but it's not. And we'll just give it a few minutes until that pointer reaches the middle. That will be operating temperature, and then we will wait 10 minutes after that, and then we will turn the engine off, let it cool, and then we'll work on it some more. So we'll come back when the engine is cool. So guys, it reached operating temperature, and the air blowing was hot earlier. And one of the steps that needs to be done according to Haynes manual is to rev the engine a few times. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I did this a few times already. So I'm just revving it for about 10 seconds, and then I'll let it go down, and the hot air is back. So that's the reason for the revving. Also, when the gauge was about 1/3 before it reached the middle, I can hear the thermostat opened while this is going on. So you would hear that, or you would feel it too. When the thermostat opens, you can tell it's cycling now. So yeah, just wanted to add that. Alright guys, so this is what came out after the first flush, after using the cleaner for one time. This, so after I used this one time, that's what came out from it. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this second bottle and do the same process again. Remember, I put only clear distilled water with it, and now you can see it's green. Not because the pan is green, but when it was draining, I can see it was green. So there must be some more still left in the system. So I'm gonna flush it one more time, since I have this and it's only $4. So and we'll show you afterwards. Now it got dark, of course you can see now the LED lights, but I'm gonna do it one more time, and then I'll leave the drain for tomorrow morning, so you will see the result. Alright, so this is the second flush, is already completed. For the second flush, I ran the engine like I did before for the first one, let it cool down, and then I ran it again and let it cool down. So now I'm going to remove the plug here. I loosened it already, so it is going to be just hand. Let's see. I'm loosening it here with hand. I want you to see the color of the water. Oh. The color of the liquid here, you see it is light green. I don't know if it's showing in the camera, but it is light green. So first flush with the chemical cleaner, second flush, which is this one, also with chemical cleaner, and the third one I'm gonna put just distilled water, nothing else. And after the third one, I think it should be good to go. I'm not gonna do too much work on it. I'll just let it do its thing. Alright, I don't think it needs to be cleaned completely. Alright. Alright guys, I just wanted to show a quick something here. The reason for it being green, that this is of course the second flush with the chemical, and the reason for it being green like that is the little amount of coolant that was still left in the engine block, which I did not drain because it's hard to reach these spots. There is left and right side bolts that need to be removed, and it's hard to reach them, so I didn't do them. That's why it's green. But I have this tester, and this tester tells you the concentration of the coolant versus distilled water. So if it's 50-50%, I mean 50 coolant, 50% coolant, 50% distilled water, it should be minus 34, and it should be here, but you can see it's pointing there. Let me turn it around so you can see it better. Here we go. So you see the pointer is right there at minus 12, so it needs to go up. This means there is maybe 10% coolant and 90% water, distilled water. So it needs to be 50-50. So this is two flushes with chemical. I'm gonna do a third flush with only distilled water, and then the fourth one I'll be mixing, and it should be done. I don't need to do it anymore. I think it's good to go. Alright guys, so I drained it for the third time. This time was only distilled water. So I'll just show you this third one. Okay. So this third one is the same as it was earlier in terms of oh, let me lift it up here. In terms of solution mix, it looks like more like 90-95% water, and the rest is just a little bit of old coolant. Now this is almost to zero. Now if we compare it to straight up distilled water, so this is straight up distilled water from the jug, and it is at 0 Celsius and 0 Fahrenheit. So when it's cold outside, what this means is when it's cold outside, this will freeze for sure. Just regular water. So we want it to be up here at the minus 34 degrees. Okay, so let's look at one more thing. So the next thing is we need to determine what is the capacity of the whole system. So since I didn't remove the engine block draining holes from the left and right side, we need to kind of do a little bit math here. So my system is with reservoir models with rear AC, and mine in the US is 3.5 gallons. That's the total capacity of the system. So total capacity 3.5 gallons. Let's assume whatever is left in the system now in the engine block is mostly water. So we need to figure out how much liquid there is in there. We need to measure how many gallons of liquid that is, and then we will include what's left in the block, and then we'll just mix it that way to reach approximately 50%. So that's what I'm going to do next, is measure that. Alright guys, so I emptied this pan into these gallons, and you can see like it's almost 1.5 gallons of liquid came out. So that means there is like 2 gallons left in the vehicle, in the engine block. Now they measure 3.5 gallons. That includes the reservoir, and my reservoir is not empty, but it doesn't have much liquid in it. So let's say there is 1.5 gallons in the engine block. So here is my theory. I'm gonna add 1 gallon of concentrate directly into the radiator, and then I'll add 1/2 gallon of distilled water, and we will measure it, see if it works out well. I'll run the car first, have it mixed. Even though it will be maybe low, I'll still run it a little bit, and we'll see when it is up. We'll measure then. Alright guys, so I drove it around and came back, and I added some more distilled water in here, because when I measured it, it was still super high, meaning the concentration of coolant was too high compared to water. Otherwise it would have been somewhere in here. So I added more distilled water, drove it around for a little more, came back, checked it again, it was still high. Then I added distilled water for the second time and filled it up all the way to the brim, and drove around, came back. Now I checked it, it's still up to the top. So I checked it with this. Checked it with this, and it was good. It was slightly above 50%, maybe 55% coolant and 45% water. I'll show you what I mean. But the reservoir is very good. I think it's maybe 51 coolant and 49 water. But here is what I'm going to show you. So this is the tester I've been using to measure that. We'll lower it down to where the line is. Okay, now it's at the line, and you can see the pointer is at exactly 34, or not 34, it's at above 34, it's at 43. So it may need to go down a little more, but it is still fine in that zone. It is maybe 50%, 60% coolant and 40% water. I think it is fine as long as it is in that yellow. And in the back as well, it is up on that boiling point. It's on the high. So what I can do to make it better is maybe take some out and put distilled water instead. But I think it's fine. I don't think I need to do that. I'll drive it around for a week or two and check it again. But I think it's very good. Let me show you the level in the reservoir. I'm gonna put this back in here. It's kind of tricky to figure out how much there is in the engine block, so I had to, just use a guessing game until I got to this point. Okay, and this is a sample from the reservoir itself. Now the reservoir seems like better mix than the radiator itself, so after a while I think they'll mix up and be fine. But it's very good. I think, in my opinion, it's in the blue section there, and it is fine. So this concludes the job of replacing, flushing the radiator in this 2008 Pathfinder. I put a detailed in this video, so maybe it's helpful to some people. If it is helpful to you to have a video this detailed, please write a comment there letting me know it was useful. Thank you so much for watching this video with me, and if you found it useful, please subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye. Have a nice day.